I'm here with some of my best friends in the entire world, and we're going to talk about the future of Star Wars. My name is Devin Faraci. This is Badass Digest. Hi, we're here today at Secret Headquarters in Silver Lake, California, the coolest comic book store in the entire city. And I'm here with some of the people who are closest to me, my heart, and my life. Director Peyton Reed of Bring It On and Down with Love. Jeremy Smith of Ain't It Cool News. Jenna Busch, Fanhattan.com, Cocktails with Stan. Let's have the deathmatch discussion right now. Best Star Wars movie.
It's Empire.
It's definitely Empire for me, too.
It feels like nothing works in that film, like everything's malfunctioning.
Watch this.
The writing of it, especially Kasdan, who I think was just on top of his game at that point, the banter is just so much fun.
Scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Who is scruffy looking?
Obviously the big reveal, which I think almost every kid knew before they went into the movie.
It was spoiled for me on the playground, just saying.
Well, let's not spoil it for the kids at home right now.
I am your
And Yoda. Yoda is he's the soul of Star Wars.
Judge me by my size, do you?
I think it always comes down between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. It's like a Godfather 2 discussion that people have. But there's something about Star Wars, and particularly, I like sort of how tactile that movie is. It feels almost documentary in a lot of ways.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I got weirdly fascinated with Darth Vader's career trajectory in Star Wars. Because he's like, in all the other ones, he's the bad guy. But in Star Wars, it's more like a Goldfinger odd job thing.
Right. Well, you know, it's so funny because also he's not just the henchman, but he's like the annoying Christian guy at the office who won't stop talking about Jesus.
The ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force. The Force.
Your sad devotion to that ancient, it's like...
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Is there anything nice that we can say about the prequels?
There's so many things that are wrong with it. It makes my brain melt. I think, though, the worst part for me was just that he can't write love scenes. And not to sound girly or anything, but the rolling through, literally rolling through a field.
He's standing on the back of the whatever those animals.
Yes,
those
oh my
big,
God.
The retread animal, yeah.
Yeah. The one thing I will say about the prequels, as far as like the battles go, you know, they're really enormous. There's a lot going on in the frame. They're expertly done.
I feel like the storytelling in the battle sequences aren't as good as the storytelling in the original. I mean, the assault on the Death Star in the first Star Wars, it's clean, and I know who everybody is, and, you know, when Porkins dies, I'm like, oh, man. In the assault on the droid control ships, I have no clue what's happening.
Well, it also becomes it's visually noisy, and I think in Phantom Menace, you just get off track with the battles when you have an 8-year-old kid flying around with seasoned veteran play. It's like suddenly he's like, well, now I don't have any investment in anything, because if this kid can do that, and I know he's got more midichlorians than anyone else, but it's still kind of just subconsciously or really consciously in my head, just like none of this matters.
A big part of the problem, and I don't think anyone's gonna disagree with this, is the casting.
But would Phantom Menace have worked if you had, say, like the kid from Looper?
I think it would have been better. I think you might have cared more. Because, I mean, I have to say I didn't care about Vader until he was just about to become Vader. Honestly, I just wanted to slap him.
Well, I think what's really interesting is that we talk about Lucas had these 12 stories or whatever. I think he's a liar.
Yeah, he may very well be.
I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
Like when you watch these prequel films, he is rushing in the last minutes to fit everything into place. Yeah. And this is not the sign of a guy who has spent 30 years thinking about what this story is.
I mean, the joke at as we were getting to Sith was that it was like, so how many people are going to get their memories wiped between now and A New Hope? Because there's a lot of people know a lot of stuff.
He wants to go back and fill in these gaps, and then he just contradicts and overdoes things. Who needed to see Boba Fett as a child?
Worse.
No.
That's a character when introduced that sort of relies on mystery and sort of like this sort of legend of he's a Mandalorian, he's a shock trooper, what is he? And that's all you need to know. And then now you don't need to know that he's like a little kid from New Zealand or something. I mean, I don't know that...
Empire Strikes Back, they generally get him right by using him, you know, very economically. Since then, they've done nothing but mistreat that guy. I mean, he's horrible in Jedi, and then he gets the most, like, goofiest death.
Wait, is he really gone? And then as the movie progressed, like, no, he's gone. He's not coming back in this movie.
That big vagina really ate him. That honestly just happened. But so, What do you guys think? Does Disney being now in the Star Wars business and being aggressive, because they're going to release Episode 7 in 2015, which means they're essentially shooting like next week. They're going to do the trilogy, and then they're going to start doing like a blitzkrieg of Star Wars movies after that. They've already announced what they want to do is maybe 1 or 2 movies a year that aren't necessarily in the saga.
Right.
The saga, but are in the universe. And you got 2 Star Wars movies a year. You got one at, you know, May and one in December. And then in December, you can bring in an interesting filmmaker to do something in the sandbox that isn't beholden to the larger franchise.
Who would I want to see, like, you know, as far as a filmmaker, like, you know, I've seen like a lot of names thrown out, people like Edgar Wright, Rian Johnson, you know, and everything. And it's like, the last thing I want to see these guys doing is a Star Wars movie.
See, but I agree on the level of I don't want them doing Episode 8, which is like a 3-year commitment and a larger thing. But the idea of, you know what, we're Disney, here's $45 million. Go off and make your weird Star Wars movie. Here are the limits. You can't do these things, but everything else is game. Go have fun.
I don't know what to expect from them. I mean, like, people are talking about, oh, are Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford going to be in there? It's like, I don't really want them to be.
I want to see what happens to them, but I would be really surprised if all 3 of them don't show up. I don't know that they necessarily need to go through all 3 films.
Couldn't they just have, like, you know, everyone's kids, like Han's kids and Luke and Leia and all that, like, they go on like a little Goonie adventure?
That's what happened in the Expanded Universe books, that they had kids and these kids and had adventures. Also in the Expanded Universe books, I don't know if you guys know this, they dropped a moon on Chewbacca.
That must have hurt. What you get from the original trilogy, what it sort of like hones in on, is the fact that you've got Qui-Gon and you've got Obi-Wan Kenobi, and none of them were really good mentors.
They're
terrible. They've really taught them, like,
their job.
And like Obi-Wan comes out and says it, you know, I thought I could train him as well as Yoda. I was wrong.
And so I would like to have Luke sort of be an older guy who understands that you can't have 700 Jedi. Yeah. And that's sort of the tension on that level for the next trilogy, which is that it's about Luke doing sort of the Zen master thing and training a handful of guys as opposed to having this academy of 7,000 people, because that obviously did not work on any level. This is honestly a big question for me. Midichlorians, are they going to come back?
What are midichlorians?
Or is that now we're all just going to sort of...
Oh, no more midichlorians.
Yeah, I think all you have to have is a scene where a character goes, what's his midichlorian count? Another character goes, give me a break with this midichlorian. And that's it. That's all you got to do. The end. That's it. That's it. It's just taken care of forever.
That would get a cheer. The audience would
It
go
would.
nuts.
It totally
would.
would.
Go crazy.
I would be
I
screaming.
actually would be surprised if that does not at some point occur, because when you watch the prequel trilogy, you see how reflexive and responsive Lucas was to what the fans were saying, that I would be surprised if that doesn't carry through, especially as Disney wants to establish, look, this is not that. I spent the last couple of years really running away from Star Wars. Like, I've had about enough. I'm so burned out on everything Star Wars. When the re-releases happened, I got way back into it. I was buying the toys. I was really excited. I was waiting in line. I was doing the midnight shows. The Phantom Menace, I think I saw it 3 times in theaters, each time trying to convince myself it wasn't as horrible. By the end of the prequel trilogy, I was just out. And for the first time in a decade, I feel like I'm like, oh wait, maybe there's Star Wars stuff that I might like again someday. It's kind of exciting. I mean, is there hope? Do you guys have hope?
Hell yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that you loved, or I loved as a kid, and you'd love to see it find its footing again and be as awesome as it was when you were a kid.
Well, thank you guys so much again for coming. I really appreciate it. Jenna Busch, Fanhattan.com, Cocktails with Stan.
May the force be with you. Sorry,
Okay.
I had to.
Only I'm schlocking on this show, Jenna. Please.
You're wearing my Boba Fett helmet.
Jeremy Smith of Ain't It Cool News, Twitter handle Mr. Beaks. Peyton Reed, director, filmmaker, friend, lover.
Thanks for having me, and I brought with me my my cred, my Star Wars cred. It's a handbill from the Crabtree Valley Theater in Raleigh, North Carolina. The week I turned 13, it opened in my hometown.
What is your favorite Star Wars movie? Can any of you people mount even a reasonable defense for a single one of the prequel movies? Are you excited for the new films? Do you share Jeremy's deep dispassion for anything related to Star Wars anymore? Or are you in fact like Jenna and super psyched and probably cruising for a bruising? Subscribe, come back again next week. We'll be doing something different in a whole different place, and I swear it'll be just as badass as this. I'm Devin Faraci. This is Badass Digest.
JB Smoove and Garfield give their review of The Hobbit, even though they haven't seen it. Jesse Miller peddles 3D glasses to any and all moviegoers, promising an extra dimension to their experience. Uncle Al and Jack discuss The Hobbit, Hairy Feet, and The King of the Rings. Gray Drake gets all bookish as she lists her top 10 movies based on books. Ben Lyons talks movies and more with special guests Matt Belloni and Andre from Black Nerd Comedy. Devin Faraci takes you on a tour of some of the most famous movie locations in Los Angeles. Get your film fix. Subscribe to CineFix.